a substantial amount of time, I decided that enough. I need to do things on my own now. I have to figure it out because I can't. I couldn't do it anymore. First major hiring in the esports vertical was Attitude, who was a Valorant legend. Esports business as it is today, it's not a profitable business. It is not something you do to earn money. It's something you do out of passion. You cannot expect maturity from these people. They are indecisive, they are impulsive, they don't know how to talk. There was this another tournament where they did not qualify because one of the player decided not to keep up his rank. MOBA team fought with each other. They fought internally. They said, screw you. This was on the verge of shutting down. The monthly burn rate is around 35 to 40 lakh rupees. You know, what all happens in an organization, how people are impacted out of it, and how an industry is impacted out of it. There was vlog, there was Ash were grinding 9 or 12, 13 hours a day. They were so adamant they have to do it. I felt bad for those two people. जब कमियां आती हैं तो इतनी जल्दी लोग गिना देते हैं, आपने ये नहीं किया, आपने ये नहीं किया, आपने ये नहीं किया, आपने गलत किया. As an organization, we got a lot of blame.
I think biggest thing which you gave to your team is that word called opportunity. एक मछली सारे तालाब को गंदा करती है.
But in the span of 6 months, if you're feeling your organization will survive, will make headline, it is a whole team effort which goes when they win also and when they lose also. Men don't listen. The ROIs, that is the lowest performing number in an esports industry. Invest in good operations team. You can't be good at anything.
Hello everyone, this is Tapasya, founder of Esports, starting a podcast series, Unfiltered Talks in Esports. So where we don't get to hear like a lot of things in the industry, but yes, we want to talk about that. I'm getting joined by Tapasya Shukla, started out as a physiotherapist and somewhere along the way started the clinic for the boardroom. Over the last 15 years, she has built career in sales and marketing in the high-stake world of BFSI, banking, financial services, and insurance sector. Today, she is the founder of Jutsu Media and Jutsu Gaming, where she has built both strategic PR and communication practice and an esports organization. From the human body to brands to competitive gaming, she has spent her career figuring out what makes people tick. Welcome, Tapasya, on our podcast. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for the invite.
Great. Thanks for taking your time. I know it's a bit late in India. Thanks for accommodating and coming up with for the podcast.
So, community supporting each other.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's esports is community. Yeah. So would like to know, Tapasya, like tell us something about how you started Jutsu Media and what was the main reason behind it.
So it's a very long story. It will start somewhere where I studied as a physiotherapist, did my medical degree from medical college, moving on to the whole segment. And then after a certain amount of time where I worked for a substantial amount of time, I decided that enough. I need to do things on my own now. I have to figure it out because I can't. I couldn't do it anymore. So one fine day, me, my business partner, we started a marketing agency. And then there's this client of mine who was very interested in the esports field and also my co-founder. So we figured out a way, we got an investment, we started Jutsu. And the journey has been very, very dramatic, I would say, since then.
Amazing. Good. So like, tell us about something about your co-founder as well. And how do you meet? Like, did he come to you? Because I know like Hussein was already was in esports. So did he pitch you about his team and you started?
We used to work together. This whole thought of, starting a business has come from him because he's always been by Tapasya, we should do something. We should use your sales skills and we should use my tech skills and make something up. Let's just do something. And that's where it started. I said, let's start with something. We did start with something. And then now we are here.
Amazing. So did you purchase the team completely or you assemble the team? You identified individual player separately and then created a team?
So when we had started, first major hiring in the esports vertical was Attitude, who was a Valorant legend. Everybody literally still worships him. Even if I mention that Andy is a part of the team, like people used to worship him left, right, and center. But that was the first hire, and we started with BGMI roster. At that point, we had interviewed quite a lot of teams, but since we wanted to, get it rolling, get it started, we picked the Ash teams, and we started with that. So we did not assemble. We spoke to a team. We saw their performance, and we thought that they will be a good talent to grow. and work with.
Right, because finding and identifying us individual players would have been a massive task, and it may take a couple of years even to identify the right talent and bringing it together.
Tell me about it. It did come to that point, but we will talk about that later when we segue from one conversation to another. But yeah, it did come to that point also where we had to scout for players. I'll come to that. Yes.
So what was your major parameters when you thought to started a roster and created a team?
So I'll be very frank here. I don't come from the field. When I had started, I had a very minimal knowledge, and along the way, I've learned a lot of things about the industry. And I feel there are a lot of things we need to work on as an industry and community. But yeah, there has been points. We hired the team, we onboarded a team based on a few parameters, which were, their gameplay, how they have performed, how much podium experience that they have, how much years of experience they have in the industry, how much they have played, and some young blood as well, whom the IGL can vet for. And that was the major criteria. And when we were re-scouting as well, for the team, I spoke to Ash and I told him that, Ash, we need people who stay, who have that, zest for winning, who want to win, who want to prove themselves. That's the major criteria we're looking at. That was later. But in the beginning, it was more of the experience and knowledge and how much, what kind of tournaments you have win, how much people know you, what is your following, what kind of content are you in, you have any YouTube channels, a lot of other things, which were commercially very, decisive. But later we came to know about other things which we learned later the road.
Okay. And that's what we would like to know. What was those learnings which you can implement and which maybe because otherwise a lot of our crowd is starting the esports journey, and they are in the midway. Some they are playing a lot of tournaments on our platform. So it will be really good for them to know because you are running a team, you are owning a team and successfully maintaining it also. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, for example, what the basic bare minimum criteria which they should fulfill before even they reach out to you or somebody else for sponsorship or to be part of the roster?
I cannot be a judge of gameplay. That will be unfair. But as a founder, as a person, I need that because I am someone who's very driven. Personally, I have a goal set. I want to do things. I have some visions in my life which I want to achieve, and that is, I would think, that just again I said, that they want to prove themselves, they want to do it, and they've dedicated their life substantial amount of time in building what they're trying to build. The gameplay, of course, is judged by the coach, is judged by the IGL and the team members. But I would say I look at that drive. I really appreciate people with some drive and passion. I feel like those are the people who sets apart the crowd entirely in this field, especially when there's so much competition. There were so many people who are coming on board and growing up and learning games, and everybody is watching. The coming generations, they all follow esports, majority of them. In that generation, when they're aspiring to be someone, that is a major driving criteria which can only push you ahead in life. That's what I feel. That's what I would say.
Great. And what do you think? Creating a boot camp is important, or how much a boot camp plays a role, or as in corporate world we say work from home, so every team member is sitting in different location. What do you think? Is it important to have a boot camp team sitting together?
So the thing is, see, boot camp is important, and I won't call it work from home. I would more of call it, staycation, forever staycation, because that's what our boot camp was. It was in such a, surreal location. It was surrounded by mountains, and it was always breezy, huge bungalow, have the huge garden outside, and, very aesthetic. We tried to make it very aesthetic with the time we had. It's white, entirely white, and, we did a lot of stuff. We gave them every benefit. And it was important because, the players could be together, they can grind together, they can play, they can improve their gameplay, and then they are together, so they have that session back to back where they can know about what they have done, what they can improve, the tasks which are assigned to them by the coaches, that is being implemented. So yeah, boot camp is important. I won't say it's not important, because of course if you're going pro, if you're if you're planning to make a career out of it, you have to give it the time and dedication it requires. But at the same time, primarily having a boot camp is not that important. Why? Because if you can gather somewhere and do it. Any smaller team who's aspiring to play pro, they can also do it. They have to assemble somewhere which have a good internet, good ventilation, and it's a little cooler on the side so that their hands don't tremble during their playing. So that's the whole point to it.
So at least like they have to sit together and play, and like
Yeah, exactly. Because see, honestly, Parsha, the boot camp is a very, very expensive thing. I'll tell you my expenses, which were on a daily basis. We had two boot camps, right? One was for staying, one was for work. We had creators onboarded, we had esport rosters living, the esports head living in, the whole crew living in. Okay. Then they had a setup where they used to work, create content around another bungalow, right? The rent of those two bungalows, because of course you cannot buy a property in Mumbai, that to a bungalow, but the rent of them, and then the location was very prime, very secluded. So that going to and fro was pretty expensive. It was on such a place, there was no pouring water. We had to get a water tanker every 2 days, every day, single day, which used to cost us a lot of money. Then electricity bill, and this is, I would say, very small, but when you are handling so many people together, these are the expenses which pile up. And esports business as it is today, it's not a profitable business. We have to be very frank about it. It is not something you do to earn money. It's something you do out of passion. And if you're planning to make money in esports, and if you want to start a business in the segment, don't start with a bootcamp. Start with a good team. Let them play, let them practice, let them grind, make them invest on the devices, a good internet, and a place they can collect at. That is much more, feasible than having a whole setup and then not continuing it ever.
No, fair point. Because Tapasya, like I'll tell you one of my story. Like we were being part of one of the DreamHack, and just before 3 days before the DreamHack summit, like we were being approached. I'm talking about like way back in 2019, when we pre-COVID era. We were being approached by a team, and they said like we are a good team roster, etc. And like why don't you please sponsor us? I said yeah, this could be a good visibility. Like we are going anyways going to DreamHack and going to sponsor them. And luckily, that team was also from the same city, Delhi. So I said, okay, like, so we gave them t-shirts, jerseys, and like asked them to participate in those events, DreamHack. So I said, like, it could be like more of a brand visibility as well, and people will get to know much about our brand. But unfortunately, those kids, I will say, like, again, there's a maturity level to become a player. Before that, I'll say like they are kids, teenagers who are participating, playing, college-going students, and they created a big rack out of that. They started on the ground, started fighting, and it was so embarrassing for us. I said like, I'll talk later. First, you remove our jerseys. You are not part of our roster. We are not sponsoring you. After that, so... only, imagine suppose if I would have given them a boot camp and arranged everything, so it would have been a nightmare. As you rightly said, it takes a lot of cost, and
I can't blame, because sometimes I also have an outburst, but yeah, of course, I try to be as civil as possible. So that outburst you learn to control with time.
As a maturity that comes exactly. And I said like these guys, kids were like just started fighting because of some like तूने मुझे out करवा दिया, तूने मुझे safe नहीं करा, and all those like started it. So yeah,
I'll tell you, this is, I think this is the biggest challenge we are facing as an industry. Why I would say that is because number one, your target audience, which is the majority of your audience, are people who are around 13, 14, 15 years of age, who play, game after the whole, school thing and all that. And then they start playing well, they think they can, have a whole team around them and they can do wonders. And that is the age, which is your major audience. That is the age group which is supposed to turn it into money. But they don't have the money, right? So that financial, the financial obligation of monetizing it and making it recurring income, a profitable business, that is why I think the biggest challenge we are facing. Also, at the same time, the way you have mentioned about the maturity, you cannot expect maturity from these people. Why? Because see, they don't know about the world which is out there. They don't know what is happening. I've personally encountered with these people, or they were working for me. They have zero social skills. I mean, and it's not like they do it deliberately. They don't
exposure.
know,
I believe it's all about exposure.
exactly my whole point. These are 15, 16, 17, like though we have not had, the youngest we had was 19 years old, Shiraj, but they are indecisive, they're impulsive, they don't know what to do, how to talk, and that is not their problem because they are young fellas. They have just come out of their home. Some of them, they don't even study. Some of them, they don't study beyond 10th grade. Some of them don't study beyond 12th grade. And that is also biggest challenge and gap I think we feel, because एक certain time के बाद, after a certain time of your career, आप क्या करोगे? आप कोच बन जाओगे, but coaches का भी what is it in the industry?
You can afford the
right?
coach.
हाँ, exactly. And there are so many pro players who are turning coaches. How? So my whole point is this gap, this skill gap, ki after esports you cannot do anything else because your options are very limited. And jo bache hain who are who are underdogs, who are coming from tier 2 and 3 cities, who don't know much about this, but your biggest followers, your biggest audience, your biggest watches, views which come from them, they need to understand this, that the gap, they have to understand, they have to be mature enough to identify and see how they can make a living out of it.
Absolutely, bullseye. So I feel that this same situation I've been into, and like a lot of time, my DMs are full of like, can we get sponsorship? Can we get sponsorship? Like they just want sponsorship, but they don't know even like what the brand is expecting out of that, and what it requires to be get sponsorship. And to fill that skill gap, Tapasya, I would like to tell our audience is that we are coming up with Esports Academy, where we are creating like game-based, skill-based learning programs. It's going to be self-paced online learning modules, which people can go and learn. And it's going to help them in like building a career, not just in esports, like it as a real world as well. So for example, obviously, we all in childhood, like, we were all wanted to be cricketer, but it's like difficult. Still now after IPL, it's a lot of opportunities have opened up. I believe like similar wave will come in esports as well. And that's where like we are giving them online education where they can learn different options, different alternates, like how they can just be a Discord manager, not a player, for example, because like becoming a player needs a certain level of skill set. You need to be a little bit entertainer. You need to be a good in skills, gameplay as well. I'll just give again an analogy to cricket. Like nowadays, everybody's becoming an all-rounder. They are good in bowling. They are good in cricket, playing batting as well. So that's what like they need to do. Like you need to be good in not just in gameplay. They need to be good in communication. They need to be good in creating the content. So we are giving them all those courses going to be on our platform, which maybe from 1st of July, it will be people can start enrolling and start learning about that.
That's a very good initiative. And especially when the government is also supporting, isn't it? You'd say with the funds which are allocated to the segment. Also, one more thing is there that these initiatives are very important also to fill up that gap. And on time-to-time basis, we need to figure out a way to tell people, because if we won't, who else will? Right. It's our duty also, because they're the next generation who are coming, who are the future, our future as well. We have to figure out. And also, I feel if there is a governing body like BCCI itself, right, over esports, I think that will be a very, very good, initiative that can help a lot of problems. They can create opportunities for people. They can, create jobs. They can create a whole ecosystem around any esports, be it tournament, be it, esports athletes, being esports athletes, and be it content creator as well. And I think that is the need of the hour. That is what should be done. And I think it will help the young ones as well.
Absolutely, definitely, the federation and or an association is required to support these underdogs, where they can see a complete career path, like in how they can progress, and not just the publisher as well, but support from the as a community, setting up a good federation, active federation, which can take care of different, like getting them brands, getting them better gameplay. Yeah, definitely. Like I think like it's a good thought to have a federation. And I see like we are talking to a few association or federations outside India as well, like for example, Colombian Esports Association, Ecuador. So a lot of in Africa as well. So a lot of federations are coming and trying to take those initiatives and to support the community in their own country. So we are working with this federation and asking them, working with them, what can be done and how we can support the community, not just in India, even in other emerging countries as well, like Indonesia, Latin America, and Africa as well.
Where the boost is already there. And I think in India, the state government has started taking these initiatives. Some of the states have initiated these policies, but I think we need a more of a centralized body to, regulate all of this.
Absolutely. So tell us more about the Jutsu. Like, do you have any sponsorships and brand sponsoring? You said like you got some investment and started so it was like a financial, it's like from a brand.
It was a financial investment which we had secured. That was initial to start up the whole thing, the setup cost, the whole 360 degree of, facilities which we were providing, hiring support, the equipment support, the furniture support, the infrastructure support, the food support, the internet support. We got the salaries. So the salaries for a certain time. And now I'll tell you, when I tell you about Jutsu, I'll tell you what all I've learned in Jutsu.
Please.
So I think it is very important for us to understand that, what all happens in an organization, how people are impacted out of it, and how an industry is impacted out of it. We started big. We had invested more than a CR, to start the whole thing. And it was all a, combined decision that we should do this. We started doing well. People started knowing in a span of very short amount of time. The BGMI team was performing, and there was this time in February where we were hosting tournaments also with a very good viewership. At the same time, we had Valorant roster, Free Fire Max roster, we had MOBA roster and BGMI roster. We were scouting for HOK roster as well. And that peak was just last peak we had, and then we fell down. like the whole thing collapsed. Why? Because in the BGI, the team did not perform. That one, thing which started a whole chain of series of reactions, and those things just, wrapped up in such a way that it's very unfortunate which has happened, because they did not perform in the BGIS. They were performing so well in the grind, and the round 4 it started, and team, I don't know what happened, because you see them, they were playing so good, they were standing on number 1 position. And I understand the grind situation is completely different from the the whole round 4 and the game. I understand, but they play so bad. They were in the bottom performers. How can this happen? This huge transition, how? And that one thing impacted everything. We had sponsorships ready, for the LAN. It all fell down because they were not going in the LAN. We had contents through which we started getting brand deals. Because of the poor performance, went down. That, I don't know, it was bad luck or what. That, and then a Free Fire Max team, which was number 1, performed so bad that they were also thrown out of the tournament. Then what am I supposed to do? Now, if you, pardon my French, but if you fuck up BGIS, and then there was this another tournament where they did not qualify. Why? Because one of the player decided not to keep up his rank. Right? He couldn't keep up his rank, and we just got disqualified for that, which was a very important criteria to be qualified for BMPS. That gone, BMPS gone. एक टीम गई, मुझे सारी teams बंद करनी पड़ी. I lost one boot camp in a span of 1 month because my team did not perform well, and one thing I was betting my whole thing on just fell into pieces. Right? We were so disappointed. We had to let people go, let teams go. Post that, it was all has been all a downfall. BMPS नहीं, अब मैं क्या करूँ? मैं कौन सी team रखूँ मैं? We thought of continue with BGMI team only, because every team Valorant was not launched. It was a huge expense. So until it is launched, why would I, pay the salary? So we discontinued that. MOBA team fought with each other. They fought internally. They said, screw you. They left. Okay. And then I don't have a roster. I have one roster which is not qualified to do anything. What am I supposed to do here? Right? Later, we had to let them go also. Now, the creators. We were very naive when we had started, because I did not come from the industry, and the investors had some visions for the company. They have thought about, they have imagined Jutsu to be at different heights, and we are still working on it in the background. We are still working on it, but at this point of time, we all were shook. Right? Because you have spent a lot of money into this. Time, energy, efforts have gone, and everything is just just getting out of hand. And that's where we let the creators also go, because for some reason we thought that we should hire some small creators, make them big in the house. Donzi was our big success. Donzi got so viral that he got a lot of opportunity. So does Joeta. And initially we had Yana also on board. She's still doing well. So we had a mixed batch of creators who were there, but it did not fall through for some XYZ reason, because I don't know what was happening. And there's so much stress around all of this happening. We were like, we don't know what to do. This was on a verge of shutting down because we were clueless. How do I secure more investment? Who is going to spend? The monthly burn rate is around 35 to 40 lakh rupees. We are not earning revenue. What will you do? Right. And on top of it, if I have to sustain this cost, the team has to perform. Right. The team
Absolutely,
has
yeah.
to perform. The team also have to, keep the end of their bargain, which is their performance, and which is not happening. I think we were just unlucky in this whole thing, and it was so painful to watch everything go. But yeah, we are planning on a few things. We are continuing with the content creation. We still have Ash here, Flock here. We were scouting for a team, as I've told you, for BMPS, so that we can qualify, but we did not get an invite because so many reasons. So we had Aurum coaching them, right? So we did invest in good people. We had good talent with us. It's not like we were not taking care of them. We did everything in our power. But then performance is their part of it. And I understand the game is 50-50. The game is 50% skills, 50% luck. I have seen the gameplay. I understand. But you can never keep a hold of one single thing which can change an entire course of action for your life, for your company, for your organization. And that's what happened with over here.
Oh gosh, I can sense that disappointment, Tapasya, and that's what like one of my mentor told me, Pasha, if you're getting into esports, you should know one line: esports is a brutal industry for the as well. As one side, definitely it's rewarding as well, but definitely it's a painful journey. And like any other, like you coming from a like being a doctor background, so I know you must be knowing like getting a admission in a doctorate is like really tough. So that's how the journey in life is. And absolutely, so cool, good to know about this experience and journey.
I can talk about the learning for like the entire day. It's morning over there. We can keep sitting out for the next day. I've learned so many things, but I would rather, talk about other things because this was sad. This was
No, I'm
unfortunate.
sure. Yeah, you could be like a good mentor to people who want to, or the brands who wants to start their own roster, and they can take those learnings. And yeah, since like as you mentioned, like these kids like are like 18-year, 19-year-old, you can't have a very strong agreements as well, like legally, because they don't know. And I'm sure like most of their parents would also not encourage them to be part of the esports or gaming. They would like again that parental mindset of study and education and all those things. But I just like curious. You said like there was a coach, and one of the player was not able to maintain that rank. How did that play when you have somebody who is like real person like Aurum who is looking at the
Lazy.
performance?
I would say laziness. Even though they are living in boot camp, there was Flog, there was Ash, who were grinding 9 or 12, 13 hours a day. They were so adamant they have to do it. I felt bad for those two people because they were working so hard. Ash had this, thing. I want to prove myself. I want to do it. I want to do it. I will do it. I'll do everything in my power. I want it. I could see that, that
That sense of ownership.
that passion in him. So does Flock. He's like, whenever I asked him when PIBJS was starting, so क्या लगता है trophy लाओगे? So Flock said, क्यों नहीं? जरूर हम नहीं लाएंगे तो कौन लाएगा? Right. And the other three players, I don't want to defame anyone on camera, but they were like, we'll try. And then they are spending their time talking to their girlfriends a whole time, and kuch kaam de to mere pair dukh raha hai, mera ye dukh raha hai, mera sar dukh raha hai. The other one is just busy sleeping around, not sleeping around, like sleeping around in the boot camp. My bad. Just sleeping the whole day and, just doing time pass often. And, जब कमियां आती हैं तो इतनी जल्दी लोग गिना देते हैं, आपने ये नहीं किया, आपने ये नहीं किया, आपने ये नहीं किया, आपने गलत किया. As an organization, we got a lot of blame because we were also new, we were also learning, but we did our everything, we gave our everything to make it work. And these people, I won't say the generation itself is like that because I know a lot of people, but this generation is ungrateful and entitled. I will tell you this. I'm being very, very blunt here because they did not value it. None of them valued it. Some of them did, but most of them did not value anything. We were putting so much efforts. We were like literally around. I did not have to go to the boot camp. I did not have to go and see for myself, what is happening, if how they are doing. But still, I did everything. I gave everything in my power to make them work, but they didn't. So
I think biggest thing which you gave to your team is that word called opportunity, and people has to leverage that thing in their life. Like there's lot of teams, lot of players who are just looking for that one opportunity. So, and like being a startup founder, I'll say one thing as my learning: hire fast, fire faster. So if you think one person is not performing, like remove it before it becomes like it's just like a एक मछली सारे तालाब को गंदा करती है. So just
I
like
will say, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Why I would say that because I have realized in the span of the 6 months was also that मेरी ये problem है. मैं ना थोड़ा सा on that side I feel bad, because of me somebody is being affected. I don't see that it is causing me damage as well. But in the process, I feel like I should, they should be safe. They should, do something about it, and like that sense of responsibility. But I think again that's a thought process of mine जहाँ पे मैं लोगों को निकालना नहीं चाहती मैं उनके साथ I don't want to cause them any pain but ये जो मैंने सीखा ना जब मैं समझी कि I have to be that person now I have to be someone who's showing them कि what they're doing wrong and what is all they're doing is not acceptable, it's not as per terms we have agreed on. I had to let them go and it was very difficult. I'll tell you, I don't want to do it again, but this is business and it makes you brutal.
Yeah, it's not about just business. It's about like the morale and motivation for another player who is grinding hard and who have that dream to win the trophy, who really wants to, like, they see themselves on a international stage. For them, we have to do it. It's not like my personal choice. I think like the team, the player who is like really serious to build a career. So it has to be I think like the right match. Because like a lot of time people have come to us as well. Parsha, like my gameplay is good, but because of my other team members, like I'm not able to rank up my game. So is there a way that I can get connected with other teams and players where like we can just collaborate? So we are coming up with that talent discovery page as well on our platform. So where you can select a person with their game skills, and it's not just like within because like how generally people start like as a friends coming together and started playing together, correct? But everybody in a class doesn't get a score rank 1. So people has to come as one team together. It could be somebody from Mumbai to Delhi to like maybe somebody from south of India. So they have to come together, and that's where the we are creating that discovery platform. So the team can be created like that winning team, which we call.
Fair. I think as from my perspective, I think the esports athletes are an entirely different genre and esports as a business is an entirely different genre. Esports as a business can be your passion project, but not something you earn money with. Because the top organizations which are there already in the market, they have done this for years. That's why they're here. They have seen the lows, they have been through the highs, now they are getting that high because they have done the work. But in the span of 6 months, if you're feeling your organization will survive, will make headlines and you will change the shape of the whole community, that's impossible. So yeah, as a player, it's always ambitions, grind. You do the work, you get paid for the work, right? You do your job, you grind, you play the game, you get the salary or the fame or what all comes with it. But as an organization, you have to bear the loss of them performing bad also and celebrate their wins also. What they do for you, how they play is entirely your whole rapport right there. So yeah, these two things are entirely different, I would say.
No, absolutely. And coming back to your roster, and like I'm sure like you must have talked to a few brands as well to seek sponsorship for the team. So what was your like major challenge when you were approaching the brands, and what were the brands' expectations when they want to sponsor a team?
So see, when you talk about endemic brands, the major one, they prefer sponsoring athletes more than the whole team itself. We were able to secure a sponsorship for AOC, and we were rolling it in a tournament format. But for our roster, we weren't able to secure any brand because of the whole fiasco. I had a few brands I was talking to, and then when they did not perform, it all went in drain. So that was the whole thing. But yeah, for tournament, it was quite easy to get. Why? Because they get the viewership, they get the immediate recall value, and it's a good deal for them when you sponsor tournaments. Rather, when you sponsor a team, unless the team is one of the best performers or have done their job, proven themselves, because it's a jersey placement. It's a jersey placement which has to go to the podium. If there is no podium, there is no brand. there is no visibility. So that is the whole thing, I would say.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. And and what are the maybe typical questions the brands used to ask you when you are talking to them for sponsorship?
So of course they ask about my team's performance. They asked about the tournaments they have been at, the followers they have, the kind of content they create. Do they create any content? Do they stream? Because they just don't agree on the deliverable is not just the jersey placement. It comes the whole package. You get the social media, content creation, you get a stream placement, you get co-branding space, you get a lot of other things you have to do in order to, fulfill the deliverables. So these are the things they used to ask about. They, what all deliverables we will get, would they be using there, or what all assets we are providing, or the backdrop. They will do the content creation around it, create reels around it. How are you going to leverage that brand sponsorship for yourself? So all these things used to be asked.
Oh, right. And tell us about the routine of in a boot camp, the schedule. Are they the night owls or the early birds?
आप पोल खुलवाओगे, मुझे जूते पड़ने वाले हैं इसके बाद. Okay, so majority of them are, night owls. They sleep by 3 or 4. रात हल्ले मचाते हैं भाई. मेरे को पहले नेबर्स ही कंप्लेंट आने लग गई थी कि मैडम क्या कर रहे हैं आपके लड़के, इतना शोर कर रहे हैं, हम पढ़ नहीं पा रहे, खिड़की बंद करके रखनी पड़ रही है दिन भर आपके बच्चे. एंड सब लड़के हैं तो मस्तियां होती हैं उनकी. एंड they usually start the day around 11-12. By the time breakfast is over, then they are like, breakfast नहीं बचा, ये क्या है, आप खाना भी नहीं दे पा रहे हो. फिर अब ऐसी जगह पर रहते हैं वहां पे पानी का इतना scarcity था, and they used to keep the taps on, flush on. पानी खत्म हो गया है, या कैसे लोग हो, पानी नहीं दे पा रहे हो, अभी immediately टैंकर कहाँ से बुलाऊं मैं भाई, allow me some time. Right? But नहीं, ये नहीं देते, वो नहीं देते, ये नहीं करते, और फिर perform देते तुम तो. It's a give and take relationship, brother. What am I supposed to do here? But so they get up, breakfast is over, then lunchtime they practice for a few hours. They practice in the afternoon, evening they come downstairs, they chill for a while. Then they go up and then start playing. Then they have their dinner around 12 or 1. इस देर रात में खाना भी खत्म, बिकॉज मैं उठ के मैं खाली वो लोग नहीं रहते, क्रिएटर्स भी रहते थे और काफी सारे एडिटर्स भी हमें रखे होते हैं ना हाउस, तो वो भी रहते थे. तो इतने सारे लोग जब रह रहे हैं तो खाना तो खत्म होगा भाई. एंड अच्छा, और ऐसा भी है कि किस दिन लौकी बना दी तो कोई खाना नहीं खाता था, पूरा खाना बचता. God, interesting. Yes.
So would you call it like a boot camp or a PG?
As I said, it was a serene staycation for them, because they were working as well, staying as well, and vacating as well at the same time. I think I would say, if it comes to a reason why it all happened, I'll blame something on me also, because I don't come from the field, and I did everything in my power to help them out, but they did not perform. And I feel like there's somewhere my failure as well, because they were my athletes, they were working for me, and those things had to be worked out. It did not. So, it is a whole team effort which goes when they win also, and when they lose also. So we also have to take the responsibility of it. So I think I would say I'm equally responsible for what all fiasco has happened.
Yeah, again, as a leader, I'll say it's our responsibility, and but yes, as a founder, we know we want success, we want them to succeed, and whatever best we can do in our power and in our resources, we help them, because ultimately they have to also understand it's not just about somebody pouring money. Everybody seeks for ROI also, whether it's a financial investor or it's a brand. They always ask what I'm going to get. It's a as if give and take. It's nothing personal and nothing proper pure business. You can get an entry because of your connections, but ultimately they want ROI. Because everybody is answerable to one or another person in the hierarchy. Even if a founder has taken a decision, they have to justify why they are sponsoring a team to their board, to their investors as well. So
we did try to raise VC rounds, honestly, because we realized that if we have to sustain this model, we'll have to talk to people. We'll need to showcase them, that what is the scope of this industry, what we can achieve if we can invest in. And honestly, the ROIs, they all talk about ROIs, and that is the lowest performing number in an esports industry. Right? So it was difficult to tell them why we are doing this in the first place. And me, I come from that background. I come from a BFSI background. I have worked with I've worked with such people. I understand the mindset. So somewhere, somehow, while convincing them, I realized, like, am I convinced enough? Because it just goes away in a second. The moment one thing happened, everything fell down. So it just happens like that. And that convincing you need to, because wo drive jo hai, and I don't come from a billionaire family. I come from a middle class family. So I don't have the money to keep on popping in industries. So you feel like we pivot, then we figure out other ways we can earn money, we can survive. And that's what we're doing right now, starting with marketing business myself, because I come from that background, doing a lot of events and a lot of other things, to just keep the gas rolling, and then rebuild again. Because this fiasco, it has to go away, and we have to come back somehow. So that's the doing as well.
Absolutely. And I wish you all the best for your pivot and for your new business. And like, need lot of people like you in the industry who can talk openly, who can tell the young crowd what as a team owner or as a brand, what they are looking for while before they sponsor any event or a team.
Yeah, of course, Pasha, because sugar coating, it won't work. These are all the people who have been there, who have arrived, right? And because of their career, they are the aspirations, but the struggle it takes, someone has to talk about it also. It's not easy. It's not dreamy, rosy. It requires work. It requires luck, and it requires a lot of money. So we have to figure out a way to make it more of a passion project than business generating model, which gives us more opportunities also in the future. Like, I was very happy that at one point I had a team of 60 people working for me. It was a huge number for someone like me. But then again, the way it rolled down. So
I can totally understand. And see, I was seeing one of the interviews from Ronaldo. He said, like, it's all always about discipline. Everybody wants to be a Ronaldo, but I will tell you the entire my routine. I'll open up everything. You spend a week with me. You see what I do. Can you do it? That's the point. Like, everybody wants to be like at that Virat Kohli. They inspire, but the hard work, the dedication, that discipline which they bring in their life, it's what they in any athlete has to bring in their lifestyle. Yeah. So Tapasya, like, tell me about being a woman coming in the esports industry, which is mainly dominated, or I'll say sports industry, entertainment industry, which is like mostly dominated by the male power or male population. How do you see your fitment in this ecosystem? And did you face any challenge in this? And what could be the role of women in esports?
See, I don't want to, victimize myself. I don't want to, do that. Since she's a woman, she will say all of this. But when I say esports industry, I'll start with my experience, because my majority of my work experience has been in the other industries as well, which are also dominated by somewhat males, and then this industry. And I'll tell you from that experience how it is different also, and how it is same as well. So coming, I would start with my first point, which is men don't listen. Men don't listen. The easier it is accepted by you all, you should listen. You should understand where we're coming from. If we say something, we have thought about it already 1,000 times in our heads. 95% of the women are overthinkers. 95% of women, especially women who are working, who are trying to make their mark in the industry they're working in, irrespective of everything. Listen, because we think about it, we have calculated a lot of, repercussions and, permutation combinations and everything about the thing we're talking about, and give us some credibility. It's when something succeeds, it's very easy to, give that success credit to someone else who's rather a male than the female. I've experienced this most of my career, where I have done some job and, I have done something good where my, other male counterparts are not able to perform, but I am not getting the credit. So I have moved industries, I have moved jobs, I've worked in different segments with various people, or during the 15 years of my career, and I've realized that this is one thing. Now, if you move to an industry which is all male, no female, you get a lot of respect. I'll give you that. Because मुझसे लोग डरते हैं कि मेरे ऑर्ग में भी आज भी लोग मुझसे डरते हैं। क्यों? क्योंकि उनको आदत ही नहीं है। हम कैसे गुस्सा करते हैं, हम टॉन्ट मारते हैं, ठीक है, हम ताने मारते हैं, हम इमीडिएटली कुछ नहीं बोलेंगे आपको, हम आपको ताने मारेंगे कि भाई हाँ कौन सा तुम खेल के जीत भी गए, उस टाइम जब वो हारे मेरे players when they did not qualify, I did not say them anything, but I kept on taunting every now and then, and they're so scared that if they confront me, I'll make them feel bad. I will make them feel bad. Why? Because bhai, I am feeling bad, right? So that is one thing. Secondly, what I feel is, I have spoken about credit. I've spoken about they don't listen. Another thing is, यहाँ पे I don't get that competitive vibe. As in, like when I am owning an organization, I'm not competing with anyone's. I'm at the highest position, right? So I have to make a lot of decisions which are tough, which will decide the future of my players, my organization, the startup I have started, the people I have who work for me. So that is one thing which I couldn't get a lot of chance doing that in the other industries also. So it has rewarded me a lot. Esports has made me sane. In a very insane industry, I have become sane, right? I have started thinking about what I'm trying to do. I am thinking 100 steps ahead now. Why? Before making a decision. Why? Because we have to be practical about it. We have to be clear about it. We have to have that conversation. So I would say, yeah, as a woman and woman entrepreneur in an esports organization, I have become more sane, and I have gathered a lot of respect from my peers, from my fellows who have worked for me, and of course, I've developed a lot of patience, and I do taunt them.
And I hope those boys in the boot camp, they were behaving properly.
Oh, you have no idea. I was strict. I was strict like your grandmom or your mom. The wrapper, if they used to leave wrappers around, I have kept dustbins everywhere, and I used to randomly go and inspect. And I'm like, यहाँ कचरा पड़ा है, फाइन लगाओ. क्योंकि नहीं सुनते भाई. मैंने पहले 3 महीने कितने हजारों लीटर ऑफ पानी बर्बाद करवाया है, कितने लेबर्स बुला के भगाया, because they couldn't just throw some trash in the dustbin. उनके rooms तो मैं जाती नहीं थी. I used to maintain that boundary. I never used to go upstairs to the boys' room to see. I never did that. But I used to ask if I have to come. So I'll ask, okay, all are decent. I'll come and talk to you all. And most of the time it was yeah. Like the way boys live. Though we had मेरे वहाँ पे 2 टाइम सफाई हो रही है, सब बोल के रखा हुआ है, but basic hygiene ही maintain नहीं करते भाई. आप washroom जाओ, you see some surprise floating around, and then like oh god, oh god, oh god. So I was very strict. मैं बहुत कि कचरा नहीं लगाएगा, कोई नल लास्ट से मैंने फाइन लगाने स्टार्ट कर दिए थे, जस्ट बिकॉज सो दैट दे अवॉइड वेस्टिंग वाटर, बिकॉज समर में वहां पे पानी हर 2 दिन में लगता था, हर दिन लगता था बेसिकली, एंड यूज्ड टू कॉस्ट 3,000 a tanker. So it was a very expensive wastage. So that was this. So yeah.
So you were like a mama figure, they were not taking you as an elder sister with whom they can have fun, they can fight, and they can
at times we had good times. We had good times in the boot camp. We were a bunch of happy, inspired people trying to do something. So we kept on trying some new things. So it was fun at times.
Any prank which happened on to you?
With me, no, they cannot dare. But they did some stupid stuff. So we were shooting for this content piece called OCD Chudail. Okay. So I had an idea. Why don't we, मेरा via version बनाते हैं? Not to praise myself, I have extreme OCD. Like I won't say it's OCD. I just like things in a certain manner. Like it gives me a ick. But वो अब लोग OCD बोलते तो that's thought process. But like सफाई से रहना तो है भाई, तो है क्या है? Like इतना एक्सट्रीम नहीं है मुझे, बट हाँ, जैसे कि चेयर निकाली तो वापस रख दो, अगर कोई चीज सीधी उसको सीधा छोड़ दो, टेबल सेट है तो उसको वैसे रहने दो, गंदा टेबल गंदा, ये सब चीजें देख के अच्छा नहीं लगता मुझे, तो खुद भी साफ करने लग जाती थी. तो when we were creating this content, so the IQ master, the creator we had, उसको हमने चुड़ैल बनाया था. So he had a wig, ठीक है, he had a wig, he has beard, and we got a white cloth, we wrapped him around it, and we were shooting at night. Now after the shooting, is a day before the shooting, there were 2 boot camps. So one boot camp, there were 2 girls who were living over there as the creators, and we used to stay back quite late because my house was nearby.
Yeah.
We were sitting there chilling, and Yogita was streaming, and and it's a glass. Beyond that, you see a whole mountain view, and that's the desk, and you're sitting this side. So this is a glass. At night, it was all dark outside. He just came and stood on the window and he yelled so hard. We all were like, क्या हुआ, क्या भाग के गए? तो पता चला वो prank कर रहा है. अच्छा, वहाँ पे भी नहीं हुआ. Suppose that he pranked Joeta also when he was standing on her bed. Okay, pitch dark, white dress, bala se karke, and then she entered, and Joita was a loud girl, Bengali, soft voice and very high pitch. So she yelled, "Oh God!" I'm like, "Kya ho raha hai?" Noise complaints आने लगी थी, and that kept on going for some time. उसने boys का भी कुछ किया होगा. I have no idea. I did not get to hear about it. But yeah, these are the few things we have seen. And आपस में तो ये लोग करते रहते थे. मेरे साथ तो नहीं कर पाते थे because मैं ऐसे short tempered थी. And they were very this thing. So they used to do a lot of pranks on each other. किसी ने टेबल तोड़ दी खेलते खेलते, किसी पे नाम लगा दिया, किसी का सामान गायब करके छोड़ दिया, वो बंदा ढूंढ रहा, परेशान हो गया. तो ये सब तो चलता ही रहता था. एक दूसरे को मार रहे हैं, वो बर्थडे का केक, ओ माय गॉड, शिराज के बर्थडे पे उसके बर्थडे के साथ क्या क्या किया था इन लोगों ने. सो दे कीप ऑन डूइंग ऑल दिस बॉय स्टफ व्हिच इज वेरी क्यूट आल्सो, वेरी लाइवली आल्सो. बट हाँ, करते बहुत कुछ करते थे. मेरे पास रिकॉर्डिंग नहीं है, कैमरा रिकॉर्डिंग मुझे खोल के देखनी पड़ेगी, बट टाइम नहीं है.
All right, no, and again, as a doctor, like, what was your, you can say, anything common between being a doctor and being a in a esports organization?
Patience with the patient. Patience, because your patients are sometimes they're very over smart, sometimes they're very dumb. So we don't mind the dumb ones because they at least listen to us, right? And the over smart ones, no matter what you tell them, what you suggest, they will not listen. They will give you 10 counterpoints to whatever you try to tell you. So that's somewhat here also. There were some good bachas, there were some bachas. Okay, no matter आप कितना समझा लो, सुनना ही नहीं है. और एक चीज होती है कि आप मेरा एक बहुत इशू है. I think ये ना मैं कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाती हूँ. I hate being interrupted, especially when I'm trying to make a point. Right? I will get there. I have to tell you what I'm talking about, why it is important, because I talk very strategically. I tell you every point in detail, and I come to a conclusion. There's a whole plethora of pointers we have to discuss to end a conclusion, and I like to put my point out there. When someone interrupts, I get and then I cannot do it to everybody. I have to control myself sometimes. So that's वो ये भी करेंगे फिर. नहीं, आपने ऐसा बोला था, आपने तो ये किया था, आपने तो ऐसा किया था, आपने तो ऐसा किया था, मुंह वो भी एक चीज है.
So sending out meeting minutes after every meeting.
Nah, no minutes, no meetings only. Auntie was there to take care of them. We had Krantiveer Vagish, who is now a CEO. He was hired as a CEO. He's handling the whole esports rosters and the whole operations of esports vertical tournaments and everything. So he's there. I said, "Bhai, you handle." I don't. I can't. I just can't. Not like because I'm pushing my this thing on him, because he's a better trained and a better educated person in the field than me, and I give them that respect, because I cannot be an expert at everything, and I really appreciate people who bring a lot of knowledge and and who are patient to make me understand about things also. And I really like his point of view, because I'll take a little bit of Hussain and Vagesh also, because Hussain is my co-founder and Vagesh is my CEO. And with Vagesh, I've understood one thing, that you can speak your point without being offensive, and you can ask questions without irritating someone, which I don't have that trait. Okay, and with Hussain is always calm. Hussain is always calm in no matter what situation, and he's somewhat, whatever task you give them, he finds out a way to get it done. So these people, they have taught me how to be resourceful. They have taught me how to be calm. So I think that is also there. That's why I rely on them a lot with all the operations, all the things which have happened, and they were by my side, which is whatever thing was happening, you're facing so many challenges, they stood by me. So I think I appreciate that part also a lot.
That's interesting. So on a closer remark, Tapasya, would like to know your 2 cents of advice, what to do and what not to do in an esports organization for a person who wants to start their own team on roster. What are those do's and don'ts?
Okay, number one do will be know about the field before you start it. Understand where will you be making money from. If you're allocating all your resources, all your investment hopes and dreams onto hiring a team and giving them infrastructure, and then fail, you will face the biggest loss of your life, and it will demotivate you as well. Secondly, be thorough when it comes to selection of people. When it comes to whom you're working with, be thorough about it. Don't be lazy about it. Put them in situations. And third is trust your co-workers. Invest in good operations team. Why? because you can't be good at anything. You have to identify where you lack, and you put in those people, those assets, invest in those assets who complete the parts where you lack in, so that you can manage the whole thing. Before starting an esports organization, figure out how you're going to earn your money and how you're going to survive. Have a 1 year long, at least 1 year long running capacity. Because if you stop in between, and if you stop somewhere in between and you feel like, yeah, it will all collapse like it did for us, right? Don't hesitate, when you feel like something is not working out for you, to speak it out and get it done. If you feel this rules is not good enough, get it changed. Don't hesitate. I'll give them more chances. Give them more chances. The more chances you give, somewhere you are also making it okay that it's okay to lack. Or you have a way to make people inspired, or you are messiah or something. Like, go for it. Your call.
Thank you, Tapasya, for this insightful discussion and topics which we discussed. And thanks for taking out time and speaking with us. Thank you very much. Signing off, Unfiltered Talks with Espotz.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.